A teenage girl, Emily, runs breathless down a hallway. Her flashlight flickers wildly as she looks over her shoulder. She turns a corner and gasps. Someone's standing right in front of her face, blocking her path. It's a girl, same age, scared, holding a bloodied meat cleaver. She snarls and takes a step forward. Emily whispers, "Please stop following me." She drops her flashlight and backs away slowly. She reaches for the flashlight, then turns back to the other girl, who's closer now, eyes wild and determined. She raises the cleaver high. "Emily, no." The girl turns and runs off down the hall, chuckling madly. Emily collapses against the wall, tears streaming down her face. Her wound is bleeding profusely. Suddenly, the girl brings the cleaver down on Emily's shoulder. Emily screams. Then we hear footsteps coming. Emily becomes frightened and wants to leave, but her friends dare her to stay in the middle of the room for 5 minutes. She approaches cautiously and peers into the glass. It seems to emanate from everywhere and nowhere. The whispering voice grows louder. "Mirror voice, tell them what you did." Her eyes roll back in her head, and she speaks in a whispery, distorted voice. She appears normal again, with no recollection of what happened or why she was there. Jason insists he saw a crazed look on her face, but no one believes him. They take Rachel home, where her mother tearfully embraces her. Unbeknownst to everyone, as soon as the coast is clear, the shattered mirror pieces themselves back together. "Rachel, I must confess, I have something to tell you about Lucy." A new text message pops up from an unknown number. It reads, "See you in the reflection room." Her soul merged into the mirror world the moment she died. She's been orchestrating this the whole time, waiting for her chance for revenge. She chose you, Emily, because you were the reason she died. You pushed her. You let her drown. Rachel throws her head back and laughs maniacally. The others look at her in horror. This isn't right. There's something wrong with her. She gets up, dazed, and swings wildly at him. He ducks and trips her. Emily is scared, but Jason steps forward and punches Rachel across the face. It sends her sprawling to the ground. Then he walks over to a mirror and smashes it with a shard from the broken one. This brings Rachel back to her senses. She looks at her hands in shock, then faints dead away. Another mirror flickers, showing her a flashback from a year ago. She sees herself arguing with her sister, Lucy. Their parents are listening intently from the other room. Things escalate quickly, and Emily shoves Lucy. The younger girl stumbles backwards and falls into the lake. She locks herself in her bathroom and stares at her reflection. She runs a finger across the mirror, leaving a trail of condensation. It forms into a perfect image of her face, staring back with blank eyes. She looks wet and cold. Her hair is matted and full of weeds. She tries to wipe it away, but it won't budge. An evil grin spreads across the reflection's face. Behind her, the frosted glass of the shower curtain parts slightly. Emily turns to see her sister, Lucy, standing in the steamy shower. She takes a step out of the stall and whispers, "Now it's your turn to live behind the glass." Emily screams and scrambles backward, knocking over the trash can. Lucy steps out and smiles. Emily falls to the floor. The reflection beckons with a finger. "Come on in," it says, its smile widening. "We've been expecting you." With a final scream, Emily is yanked into the mirror. The glass surface goes still. The reflection left behind is smiling. They all chant together, "Confess, or pay the price." And it's Lucy. Without hesitation, Emily watches her struggle and eventually disappear underwater. When Emily comes back to the present, she realizes that the reflection in that mirror is her sister. The other reflections seem to stir. More voices join in. One of the mirrors shows another flashback of her lying to the police and paramedics about how it was an accident. She cries out, horrified at what she's done. The voices continue to torment her. They help her out of the room, and she collapses on the ground. They say they'll come back for her when the timer on Emily's phone hits 0. Not her reflections, but the mirrors themselves, as if something dark and sinister is oozing out of them. The voices become deafening, and Emily can't take it anymore. She thrashes wildly, trying to shatter the nearest mirror, but her hand passes straight through it. Suddenly, the door bursts open. Lila says they should do a seance to contact Lucy and apologize. Her friends stare back at her in shock. Crying, she tells them about Lucy, about how she shoved her sister in anger and watched her die. She thought about confessing before, but her parents wouldn't believe her. And even if they did, they would have sent her to prison. It's better if she died. Her friends try to comfort her, but they're deeply disturbed. Tom thinks she should tell the police, but Jason comforts Emily and says she doesn't need to do anything. As far as he's concerned, it was an accident. It's in the past. But while they turn off their flashlights and leave, her phone's screen remains illuminated. Emily knows it's not safe, but there's nowhere to hide. She tries to scramble away, but each time she moves, her image in the mirror does the same, always staying one step ahead of her. Desperate, she dives for cover under a table just as the door slams shut with a metallic clang. She looks back at the door, which is now locked, and then at the surrounding mirrors. Each reflection is watching her intently. The reflection room. They all know Lucy drowned last year, but there's some bad blood between Emily and her family. She feels they never really cared for Lucy and didn't grieve properly afterwards. In fact, they were relieved because Lucy was adopted and had special needs. The mention of her sister sets Emily off on edge, and the others decide to take her to the reflection room, which is said to show you your greatest fears. Lila picks the lock easily, and the 5 friends enter the dusty room. The light from their flashlights is instantly amplified by the mirrors lining the walls. Their images crowd around them, distorted and menacing. Belridge Boarding School stands abandoned on a hill overlooking a small town. A group of 5 friends, Emily, Jason, Lila, Tom, and Rachel, sneak onto the property one night. Legend has it that if you wander through the halls at midnight, you'll be shown your deepest secret, but it will demand a price. The school's most famous room is the reflection room. Its walls are lined with antique mirrors that reflect and amplify any light source. It also happens to be locked from the outside with a steel door and barred windows. Emily reveals to her friends that her parents are making her attend a grief group for her late sister, Lucy. A strange thing happens. Suddenly, she hears a whisper coming from one of the mirrors. It sounds like her own voice. Then something terrible happens. The mirrors start bleeding. As they walk away, Rachel stops suddenly. She looks back at the reflection room, transfixed. When the police arrive, they find Rachel kneeling beside the unconscious body. At home, Emily is traumatized by what happened. Emily's dropped the phone,